If you're into automated trading, you know your tools are absolutely everything. So today, we're going to dig into a huge upgrade for Venus Radar V3. They basically swapped out its old, rigid rulebook for a brand new AI-powered brain. Let's break down what that actually means for your trading.
This question right here. This is at the very heart of any neutral grid bot strategy. I mean, it is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it? It's what separates making consistent profit from, well, a catastrophic loss. You get it right, and your bot is just humming along, buying low, selling high. But you get it wrong, and you could be looking at a total grid breakout.
And look, this isn't some question you answer just once. It is a constant battle, every single day. Good volatility. That's the lifeblood of a grid bot, right? Those nice, rhythmic ups and downs that just print money. But bad volatility? Whew, that's a one-way ticket to a bad time. It's a trend so strong it just blows right past your grid's boundaries and leaves you holding a big loss. And honestly, the old tools really struggle to tell these two apart.
So to really get why this new version is such a massive leap forward, we've got to look back for a second. The old Venus radar was pretty powerful for its time, but it worked off a fixed set of rules. You can literally think of it like a checklist with these pre-assigned scores for different market conditions.
And here's the thing about a rulebook. The market doesn't care about rules. It's this living, breathing thing that's always changing, always evolving. So what happens when you try to use a static set of rules to keep up with a market that's, well, completely dynamic and unpredictable? Yeah, that's exactly where the limits of the old system started to really show.
Okay, so let's put them side by side. The old way used this thing called PPAS, which was basically just a scoring system with hard-coded weights that couldn't change. It was what it was. But the new way, it throws all that out and brings in a machine learning model that actually learns and evolves with the market. It's a huge shift from a system that just assumes it knows the rules to one that learns them, all with the main goal of crushing those super frustrating false alarms.
And that, right there, was the Achilles heel of the old system, false positives. It would just scream danger during what was actually normal, profitable volatility. This would cause traders, maybe you, to pause their bots for no good reason and just miss out on perfectly good profits. It really struggled to tell the difference between a real threat and just market noise. So the developers realized that the solution wasn't to just tweak the old rules again. No, it needed a fundamental change. This V3 upgrade isn't just some patch or a minor update, it is a complete brain transplant for the whole system, and it's powered by AI.
And this is the absolute core of the whole upgrade. Instead of just fiddling with the numbers in the old rulebook, they performed what is basically a brain transplant. They replaced that static, old logic with a dynamic AI model that can learn, reason, and predict things with way more accuracy.
So what exactly is this new brain made of? Well, it's a machine learning model called a random forest classifier. Now don't let the name scare you. In simple terms, instead of just relying on one opinion, the AI builds hundreds of different decision trees. Each one looks at the market data from a slightly different angle. Then, it takes a vote from this entire forest of trees to make a final and much more reliable prediction about risk. Pretty cool, right?
Okay, so we've got a new AI brain. That sounds great, but how does it actually learn to be so much smarter than that old rulebook? Well, the secret is all in how it's trained. It's a really unique method.
The whole process kicks off with this clever technique called smart labeling. And this is the first huge innovation here. To train the AI, they didn't just show it what the market was doing at that exact moment. No, they gave it the ability to see what happens next.
Here's how it works. While it's training, the AI looks at a specific market pattern. Then, and this is the genius part, it gets to peek 6 hours into the future. That's about 24 candles on the 15-minute chart. It gets to see what actually happened after that pattern appeared.
And this is the key. This is the secret sauce. The AI only learns to label a situation as high risk if the price actually broke out of the grid within that 6-hour window. If the price just kind of chopped around and stayed in the grid, the AI learns that the initial pattern wasn't a real threat after all. This is exactly how it learns to ignore all that market noise and get rid of those false alarms. But there's a second innovation, and it's just as important. The AI never, ever stops learning. Think about it. The market today is not the market from last month. So this system has an automated weekly training pipeline, all managed by a simple script that makes sure the AI is always learning from the very latest market data.
And in this process runs like absolute clockwork. Every single Sunday, an automated script just kicks in. First, it grabs the most recent week of market data,
Then it safely backs up the current AI model, just in case. And finally, it uses all that fresh data to train a brand new, smarter model that gets put to work for the week ahead. So yeah, the system is literally getting smarter every single week.
So, we've talked about random forests and smart labeling and automated training, but what does all this techie stuff actually mean for you, the trader who's using the tool? Let's boil it all down.
It really comes down to these three massive benefits for you. First, way fewer false alarms. That means you can stop jumping at shadows and just let your bots run. Second, more accurate alerts. When Venus Radar V3 pings you now, you know it's a genuine threat that you need to look at. And finally, you get an evolving guardian, a risk management system that adapts to the market so you don't have to constantly be second-guessing your own rules.
At the end of the day, this upgrade completely transforms Venus Radar from just another static tool into a self-learning risk guardian. It's always watching, it's always learning, and it's always adapting to protect your strategies with a layer of intelligence that frankly just wasn't possible before.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. Most of the trading tools out there are static, right? Their logic is the same today as it was a year ago. But this is a totally new way of doing things. So just ask yourself, what kind of an edge could you have if your most important risk management tool was actually getting smarter every single week?